welcome back to Reissued. If you're new here, my name is Andrew. Today we are launching into the backyard makeover, starting with the back deck. Now, with my interior home renovation, we have many finished spaces, motifs, and momentum that is helping me to drive the final designs forward. But in the backyard, we are literally at square one. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing my process of arriving at a general design for the back deck, from the demo, to the trial and error, to the total overwhelm that comes with starting something new. And along the way, I'm going to share some tips that help me arrive at a working design plan that I'll be sharing at the end of the video. Feeling overwhelmed with planning your outdoor space? Let's do it together. Okay, first things first, let me talk you through what we're starting with here. Now, in my house tour video at the beginning of the year, I did a more full tour of my backyard, including the shed and where I thought the garden would go, and of course the crumbling back deck. This was here when I moved in, and it's kind of continued to rot and disintegrate, so at this point it's just in really terrible condition. It's falling apart, it needs to go and be rebuilt somehow. How are we doing it? That's the question. Now, our initial steps in the backyard are kind of centered around three problems. First, of course, is the crumbling deck. It has this concrete block foundation around it, so we can't really change the profile of it that much. We're not gonna move this wall, so we could take the deck out over it, but maybe that would be weird, so we have to work with that. Also, the existing shed that's here, besides not being very attractive, does have a bit of an animal infestation going on. The roof is not in good condition. It was built kind of strangely. Plus, it's completely full of wood and building materials that we pulled out of the house or have been saving for other projects. So we need to get started on that soon before that structure totally disintegrates. And finally, you know that storage is always going to be an issue for me because I have so many projects happening here on the channel. So we really need a place to store tools. Right now, all of those are on some shelving in the entryway, and we can't have that. I'd love to have the space be cleared out and presentable if I have guests over to my home. So we need a place to store all these tools as well. So the first step here is to kind of get a big picture plan of where things are gonna go. It's easy to focus in on one area like the deck, but it's hard to know how to proceed with the details there if we don't really get the big picture. Are we eating here, or is there gonna be a different eating space? Are we gonna have storage for tools in the existing shed, which is small? Could we expand that? Do we wanna have a different shed entirely and build that from scratch? So this has been an ongoing process over the last couple of weeks of trying to nail down the big picture ideas of how things are gonna be laid out. One of the only things that I knew going into this process is that we wanted to raise up the area right outside the door to the level of the floor on the inside so that you could just walk straight out. And that would give us a little bit more headroom below the deck to do a storage system for scrap wood. So we're putting together a plan for waterproofing this area under the deck and using that little opening in the concrete wall as an access door. So even though every other decision is still up in the air, we have one decision made, so let's push forward in that direction. And that's gonna bring me to tip number one here. Sometimes you have to take action to know how to plan. So we started in demoing the deck that was here just on the side that we knew we wanted to extend out from the doorway. And then once we get that area demoed and rebuilt at the new height, we can kind of assess how we want to proceed from there. I know it sounds kind of weird to jump into something without a full plan of how the whole thing's gonna go, but it can be really difficult to visualize, and sometimes it can take some time to put all the pieces together. So why not take action while we're allowing that process to unfold? While we are reworking this backdoor deck and reclaiming this outdoor space, I've also been working to reclaim my online privacy with Incogni, which is the sponsor of today's video. Most people don't realize that there are hundreds of data broker sites that collect and sell your personal information. Things like your phone number and address and email. That's usually why you start getting random spam calls and targeted ads out of nowhere. So creepy and so annoying. That's where Incogni comes in. Incogni is a personal data removal service that automatically contacts those data broker sites and requests that they remove your personal information. So instead of trying to track down hundreds of sites yourself, it handles the process for you. We love to delegate to devote more time to our projects. Or you can even send them links to specific sites with your information that you want removed as a part of the custom removal feature in their unlimited plan, and they will request removal even from sites not included with their automatic tool. If you want to check it out, click the link in the description and use code REISSUED to get 60% off annual plans. And take your personal data and your privacy back with Incogni. So at this point in the process, we were thinking that we would rebuild the deck all at one height, right on the existing profile so that it would line up with that existing concrete wall. But even still, we decided to do this in 2 phases, demoing one side and rebuilding that first. So if we wanted to change things up and do something 2-level or tiered, we would still have that option. But if we wanted to do the full deck all at one height, we would need a support beam here in the center anyway to run the joist, so this will work out either way. So as we continued demoing and rebuilding, we were continuing to think about plans for the yard, and at this point, Matt and I were just back from Japan, and we had seen so many beautiful gardens there. There was so much inspiration, and so we started talking about ideas for expanding the ponds and connecting them, and a greenhouse, and a new shed that was also a workshop, and turning the existing shed into a deck that would overlook the pond. So many ideas here, and I think they were good ones if I wanted to pour my entire life and all of my money into this backyard. But then reality kind of set in a little bit about maintenance and costs, and maybe I don't want to be in this house for the rest of my life and it wouldn't be worth that. So on that note, tip number 2 is to scale it back a little bit to consider cost and maintenance and timeline. I love a brainstorming phase where we do all the big ideas and go crazy, but at the end of the day, it's important to be realistic about what you can achieve, and this can scale over time. I know that inside my house, we had not originally planned to raise up ceilings and strip all the paint off the wood in the living room. These are decisions that came along during the process that felt like just one more step that would take it to the next level, but being that crazy and ambitious on the onset of my home renovation would have just felt incredibly overwhelming. So here in the backyard, we're gonna start with things that feel smaller and more manageable, and we can always expand if we decide that we want to put in more time and effort and money. So with that consideration in mind, we were able to narrow in on 2 more big decisions. One is that the shed is gonna stay kind of as it is down by the pond. We're gonna probably take off that overhang to make this a more pleasing shape. We're gonna clean this up a lot, add a lot of windows, make this more of a beautiful potting shed for garden care kind of items. That way, it's not an eyesore when you look out over the pond. It also has some practical storage, but more importantly, it allows us to keep that concrete foundation as is and utilize a lot of the existing structure to save on costs. However, we are gonna add some additional storage back here on the back of the house underneath the kitchen. We're gonna do a little sloped roof off of there, match the siding on the house, maybe add a couple windows and a door, and this is the place where that shelving and my entry is gonna go. I think it makes sense to have storage like this close to the house, so if you need to go grab a tool or something, you're not running all the way down to the other shed. And all things considered, this is gonna be cost effective and also kind of offer a solution to what is now a pretty ugly part of the yard and the house. So with the plan starting to come together and the structure of the upper deck built, we were ready to demo the lower part of the deck. So much of this wood is rotted and unusable and will have to be thrown away, but some of it is still good. And I'm thinking that maybe down in the little potting shed by the pond, we'll save a lot of this wood and put it up on the wall so that there's some cladding there that looks a little bit more finished, maybe paint it out all one color. You know, it wouldn't be reissued if we were gonna throw a bunch of good materials away, so I currently have tons of piles of wood all around my house. As we remove the decking boards from the top here, we put them over the new upper deck, partly to get a feeling of how that's gonna be, but also to help us access the unfinished siding on the house that we'll be repairing soon. Okay, so at this point we have the structure for the new deck height outside the door. We have a working plan for the existing shed and the new storage structure at the back of the house. But now we need to really make some decisions about deck design so that we can know how to move forward. And this was the part in the process that almost broke me. I was having a hard time visualizing how I was going to use this space at all. I was also fighting the feeling that this was just going to look like one of those big back decks where it's just, you step out the back of the house and there's this big expansive kind of liminal space that just feels like nothing. They don't have any kind of feeling or story to them. I was feeling like the kind of two-tier look that we had going on here was nice, but then it felt like it was too small to make any kind of functional spaces. So I was just really struggling with decision making at this point. So I went back to basics here. I hopped onto Pinterest, pulled up some inspiration images, and really started to get to the core of what I wanted here. And that brings me to tip number 3. Dig into your memories. One of the struggles here is that I was thinking of myself as someone that wasn't really an outdoor person. Part of how I design spaces on the interior is thinking about other places that I've been and how I felt in that space and if that feels like how I want to feel in this space. So to start to put together a story of how I wanted this outdoor space to feel, I really tried to tap into my memories of wonderful experiences I've had outside. I remember being at someone's house and lying in a hammock and just loving that so much. I remember having a dinner at someone's house. We were on picnic tables just out in gravel and it just felt so wonderfully summery and rustic and casual. I remember dappled light coming through pergolas overgrown with wisteria in Sorrento on our Italian vacation 2 years ago. So these feel like some touchstones that can kind of drive our function and our story forward. The other really big one here, tip number 4, is to dig into the architecture and the history of your home. Again, one of my things that I was most worried about as I work on the interior of my house, I'm trying to balance what is period appropriate, what kind of architectural details are there that I want to enhance, but also how do I infuse that with my eclectic style. And on the outside, the idea of just a deck feels both incredibly generic, but also not appropriate for the period of the house. There used to be a back deck on here that was L-shaped. This was converted into the addition for my house. That's now the conservatory and the bathroom. And so I started to consider this deck as kind of a back porch or veranda to feel more in line with the period of the house. So rather than stepping out the door into bright exposed sunshine, maybe we put a pergola that attaches to the house so that you have some shade as you're walking out. Maybe it feels a little bit enclosed with some privacy so we're not staring across to the neighbor's deck. Maybe we allow that to open up into a bright sunny area with herbs and a grilling station. Now, in terms of the layout of the deck itself, we had thought about kind of cantilevering over the edge, but then I decided that rather than trying to work against this existing wall that was here, let's treat this as a feature to be celebrated and limitation to make the design work within. So we're making decisions and building momentum here. Tip number 6 is to sketch and draw in different mediums. So in order to see kind of a 3D version of this and decide if I was gonna like this at all, I used the free deck designer program on the TimberTech website. This was really helpful just to give kind of an idea of if I make the deck this high, how many stairs do I need? And to get sort of a working 3D rendering. I was able to try tons of different layouts with the stairs. At this point, I realized that widening the stairs a little bit would make them look better. However, I couldn't be really specific in the things that I wanted. I had to slap a generic pergola in there. I wasn't really able to visualize how things would look with my existing wall. So at this point, I switched to drawing by hand to kind of get a sense of how the layout would be from above. And I also did some digital sketching in Keynote to kind of lay out some more design features in a more specific way. My next tip here is to utilize what you have to visualize. So I kind of realized that the profile of the pergola is actually going to be very similar to where we've built the structure for the upper deck right now. So to kind of get a sense of that, I walked down underneath there to see how the light might filter through, to get a sense of where the posts would be. And that brings me to my next tip. Use your limitations to come up with new ideas. So you can see here that we need a couple of posts across the center to be able to support this. I did some research and found that just one post in the center would be okay, but I think that would really cut off the flow here. So I was thinking, what if we did 2 more posts that were slightly pushed toward the outside so we have a really wide open walkway, and then maybe we do some planters in between so that we kind of anchor the space and divide it into 2 areas, even though it's one level, we have kind of a seating area and then kind of a sunny grill area. Which is so funny because it actually reminds me a lot of the design solution that I came up from Morgan's Kitchen in last year's Designing My Subscriber Spaces video. She had a big cased opening between the dining area and the living room, and I suggested putting some little bookcases in on either side. Are we remembering this? Why can't we treat this outdoor space kind of like an interior space and allow that architectural detail and sense of definition and division to come in here? Now, my final tip here that was kind of at the core of all the things that I was struggling with is that you have to think about what you want. I'm working on this project with Matt and my parents, and I want them to be happy with the design and have it feel like something that everybody likes. I'm gathering inspiration images of how other homes look and what would be appropriate for my house. And at some point, at the end of the day, I realized that I wasn't really doing the work to think about what I wanted the space to be. Of course, we want to take in opinions and have feedback and do things the best possible way. That's really important. But at the end of the day, when we're creating our homes, it has to start with how are you going to use the space? What is going to make this functional for you? And what is the story that is going to make you feel comfortable and alive and inspired by that space? So with all of that being said here, allow me to introduce you to the working plan for the back deck. So you're gonna come out the back doors here, and there's gonna be a pergola that goes overhead that extends to the end of the house, so it will kind of frame everything in here. If you look straight ahead, I'm thinking about doing these lattice panels for a little bit of privacy. The goal here is not to block this in too much, but this gets a ton of sun, so we wanna get that kind of filtered light coming through, just a little bit of shade, but something that feels warm and a little more enclosed and private for a seating area. I think with the deck and the railings and the pergola, I want everything to be stained in a nice, warm, kind of deeper brown color that feels very on par with what I have everywhere else, and I think that would look really nice to warm up the space, especially on this very white house. I'm thinking 4 support beams along the front of the pergola with these little planters in between. I'm thinking about file cabinet planters. I've seen this everywhere. Some people say they rust through and they're not durable, but I've read also that if you paint them well enough, they can be durable, and they're so cost effective, and it would be a great reissued moment, and it would be the proportion that I need here. Let me know what you think about these. But if we have the file cabinets at the bottom, and then we have kind of an open area or maybe a lattice work up above, I'm not sure yet, that will create a beautiful architectural frame as you look out into the yard. We've kept the deck all at one level so that we can store the grill over on the side of the house to protect it, but then it can roll out into this sunny area so that it gets plenty of ventilation, and we can grill in this area out in the open, not under the pergola. As I mentioned, we're keeping the profile of the deck exactly as is, following that little concrete wall. There is gonna be a gap between the wall and the bottom of the deck since it's higher now, and we'll fill that in with some sort of lattice framing as well to mirror the lattice that we have up top. And then I'm not entirely sure about the stairs yet. We're gonna play around with the stairs that we have here just to see what's gonna feel right. But I'm thinking that a wider staircase, like 6 feet wide, coming straight down here is gonna be the simplest and the most elegant. Now, in order to keep this from feeling like this super high up deck with this massive wall, I'm exploring the possibility of getting more concrete blocks and building another wall right on either side of the stairs that comes out just a bit lower than the existing wall to kind of create a raised planter. I think if we get some plantings in there and that additional wall that would match the rest, it would kind of break up that wall and make this feel a little less fortress-like. As I mentioned before, we are gonna turn that little opening on the side of the house to a full access door, and we'll be waterproofing this side of the deck with a built-in gutter system so that we can do storage for wood and building materials underneath the deck. Okay, so that's the working plan. I say working plan because there are so many things that could change or go wrong, or maybe you'll have some ideas that I didn't think of that would be a better solution. I'm always open to new things. I hope this video was helpful and that you can apply it to any space that you're working on here. These are some pretty general tips that I think would drive any design forward. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, be sure to like and hype this video. If you want to follow along with how this back deck project turns out, be sure that you're subscribed. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon.